Did you hear Jesus walked on water? Whoa! Pick up in here and I'm going to tell you all about it. It's found in Matthew, Mark, and John. 3 out of the 4 Gospels talk about this amazing moment. Jesus had just finished feeding the 5,000 people with 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. An amazing moment in itself. But then he tells the disciples to go on to the other side of the Sea of Galilee and he'll meet them there. He's going to hang back and pray. And Jesus did that. And then it started to rain and started to get windy. And if you ever know anything about the Sea of Galilee, those are some storms, you know what I'm saying? All of a sudden the disciples are trying to get there, but it's so windy and Jesus walks to them. It freaks them out because they think it's a ghost. They've never seen anything like it. And Jesus walks to them and he calms the storm, gets in the boat, and they say, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Have you ever seen a talking donkey? Yeah, pick it in here, and I haven't. But in the Bible, it talks about a guy named Balaam. Balaam was sent by the king to go curse the Israelites, to get rid of them. He gets on his donkey and starts heading towards them, and the donkey stops right where he's at and wouldn't move. That stubborn mule. Balaam gets mad. He gets off his donkey and he starts hitting them and starts getting mad at him and starts calling him names. And the donkey gets upset and says, "Hey, can't you see there's an angel in front of you?" All of a sudden his eyes were open and there stood an angel of the Lord that said, "Balaam, turn from doing bad and start doing good." God can use anything to show us his will. He's got a plan for your life. So open up your eyes and look around and see what God's got for you. Peter escaped from prison? Whoa! Pick it in here and I'm going to tell you how in Acts chapter 12 we read about how Peter was put in jail by King Herod. And in the middle of the night, an angel wakes up Peter and says, "Peter, we got to get out of here." And Peter and the angel walk right through the prison doors and into the city. Peter was free. But then the angel disappeared and Peter was on his own. So he went to Mary's house and started knocking on the door. They answered the door and they couldn't believe what they saw. It was Peter. So they went, "Hey, Peter's here." Nobody believed her. But then all of a sudden, guess what? They saw him. Peter had escaped from prison. And that alone is a whoa moment. Pick it in here and I want to tell you about how Paul predicted a shipwreck. He was held prisoner and was being taken by a ship to Rome. But there was a really bad storm. And this storm was kicking. I mean, the rain was coming, the wind was blowing, and Paul was in the bottom of this ship with all the prisoners. The people, the crew on the ship was freaking out. They were like, "We're all gonna die." But Paul, he saw this vision from God, and that told him that he could survive and that everybody on the ship was gonna survive. Whoa! It started to get worse and worse and worse, and the ship was going crazy because Paul said they were gonna survive, and they did. 14 days later, they finally reached shore. The boat was even falling apart, but all 276 of them survived, just as he was told. Elijah did what? Whoa! Pick it in here. I want to tell you a story about an axe. You know the thing you chop down a tree with? Well, there was a group of prophets that were helping chop down a tree, and they had borrowed someone's axe. Now, this axe was very expensive. It was like one of those things that you had to save up for a long time to get. Well, they borrowed it, and they were chopping down a tree, and the axe broke, and the head of the axe, the big metal thing, flew into the water and started to sink. Oh no, what are they gonna do? Well, they cried out, "Elijah, help us, that was not our axe." So Elijah took a stick and he threw the stick into the water. And the axe head began to rise to the top. It started to float. Elijah called on the name of God for a miracle and it floated. Wow, that's pretty amazing.